the farms goes live. We can't have any farms open early that are not generating cash flow to the pig pen. So,
Okay.
But with Drip, we have some very awesome things in the works right now with James Devstreak and JS, who have agreed to the job. We've already started working on the job, and you know, the UI for Drip, right, that we modeled after Charles Schwab's template that I think is a very beautiful template to get people to use your products when they visit the site. That whole design was already finished before I even brought on James Devstreak or JS. It's that we need to, well, we don't need to, but I don't want to launch the new UI without revamping some of the things that need to be done with the new UI. So, for example, I don't want to launch the new UI and then update the airdropping mechanism after, because that would take a revamping of the UI, because the UI has a lot to do with the airdropping thing. So I want to do it all at once, and because we're hyper focused on Animal Farm right now, the design was all built but kind of sitting on the shelf because we had these other things we need to do for it. And it was important to me that Drip UI and the things that I want to do for Drip didn't get further delayed from the other things I'm working on. And this is why it takes time to hire quality developers and go through the process of vetting and looking at their work and going over the job with them, determining whether they want to do it or not do it. We went through a lot of developers, probably 6 or 7 different developers that we considered for doing this work for Drip before we landed on JS and James Devstreak. James Devstreak was always in the mix where I wanted him to do the UI, but he's not super experienced in Solidity, so we needed a Solidity dev. So luckily, I was able to hire my buddy JS, who I've known for years, who worked for an auditing firm doing audits. And, I don't know if it's because it's like peak bear market or what the case is, but I've tried to hire him in the past, and he's always been busy, So probably because it's peak bear market now, there's not so many shitcoins to audit that he was available. So I was able to bring him on. He's super, super skilled Solidity dev. And they're going to complete the UI work, which isn't much, like a lot of the design's done, but also build out some new products for Drip that support the reservoir and the faucet, but don't change any of the mechanics of the reservoir or the faucet, because it's important to me, and I made this promise to myself and to the community, that we would never add like a V2 faucet or something where we just like change the percentage payout. And the reason for this is because people, when they stake in the faucet, they're locked up for a year, right? Before they, no, they're not locked up for a year, but their principal is sent to the tax vault, that they can't access that. And it takes at least 100 days to get that out. So let's say 100 days they're locked up for. So it's important that we don't, change the rules of the game after someone's already committed to the game. So this is why we've been slow to make any major adjustments to Drip. But what we've come up with is something that's an alternative way to stake into the faucet or into the reservoir. You could still use the regular way to get into the faucet or the reservoir, or you could decide to use this new mechanism that we've built that's a more gamified version, a more gamified way to get into the faucet, into the reservoir. And it has an element of lottery to it. It has an element of rewarding larger purchases. And it's not done on on-chain data. For example, there's some other projects that have forked Drip that have tried something like this, but they use all on-chain data to determine who is the winner, for example, of these prizes. And at the end of the day, that's exploitable. For example, there was one that used block timestamp, block difficulty, and the amount of tickets sold.
Okay.
Block timestamp is predictable because you're calling the winner the same time every day. You could just project forward, and you know what the block timestamp will be at that time. Block difficulty on BSC rarely changes, so you can have with high confidence what that value will be. So these two values that are supposed to be at least pseudo-random, you can predict them very easily.
So easy to snipe is what you're saying. You could be sniped.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the last value was how many tickets were sold. That is manipulatable because you can buy tickets. Yeah. You can change that value. And at the end of the day, when we were looking at some of these models, whether we were doing it, some of the existing models that are using this, we could be the winner of this supposedly random prize with a consistency of about 80% for buying 20 or less tickets. And that's just ridiculous, right? You can't have a model like that. So with our model, we're using Chainlink's Vieira service. There'll be a multitude of prizes that you could win. You're also rewarded for being a larger depositor. So it's also, not happening once a day or once a week where you're going to have a big price spike that people will know. There's a big price spike at this time that people can just dump into. Well, let's just wait to dump at that time, wait to withdraw and dump. Instead, it's a more spread out and consistent version where there's still the race to be the biggest, but it's spread out over the day. So it's a, as usual, major improvement on the current model that's working, and it's going to create a lot of excitement for Drip. And then on top of this, we have the Drip BUSD farm that's opening on Animal Farm. We have Scratchy coming. We have a use for Drip in the Pigpen game, the Pigpen hacker game, a really cool use for Drip. That's you can only use Drip to do this in the game, and it's something that's very fun that people that play the game will definitely want to take advantage of. So there's so much coming. Virtually everything that I just talked about is already built. So the Pigpen use of the game's already built. Scratchy already built. The farm, BSD farm, 95% built. And then the UI, it's about 80% built. And then the contract, we're building them now. So over the past 6 months, it's been about building up the team, both from a development and a managerial, right? We brought on a project manager. We brought on 5 new developers who are all working on different things. We brought on a CMO. We partnered with a marketing firm. So major changes from a team perspective. And also, we've built up multiple new products that are awesome. And really, we just need to just put the bow on Animal Farm. And once we do that, once Animal Farm goes live, we have these other products that are built, ready to go, so we can drop a new one every couple weeks. And it will create more excitement for our current assets, dogs, pigs, and Drip. And, it's just going to be one after the other. A lot of excitement, a lot of fun, and a lot of value. And, I can't wait. The hacker game is such a fun game and such a well-balanced, in-depth game that I know people are going to love it, even if they don't care about the what they're earning from it, which will be great because it's coming from not only the purchases of assets in the game, which create the rewards, but also you buy into the game with pigs that's staked in the pig pen for you. So you're also earning from the pig pen while you play the game. And but even with that, if the game was just to launch as a standalone game that wasn't even a crypto game, people would still play it. That's how fun it is. And it's because it's similar to...
Are you smiling while you're talking about it, Forex? Can I detect smiling while you're talking here?
Well, I can hear it in your voice. So it's a...